Okay, guys, as per usual, daily stream. Um, a little bit of a glance into Bitcoin. Obviously, quite an interesting day yesterday in the grand scheme of things. But I suppose just like yesterday's stream, let me stick a little bit of logic as to why and what I'm actually seeing, where I think we go in, what's going to actually happen, bigger picture. So in the shorter time frame, let's just look at the hour time frame. I've put a couple of key levels in here. This is obviously some liquidity pools and pots. We clearly had a nice move up and into this range, which was sitting obviously over here um, from back in June. So really, we've done nothing other than move up, kind of tag some liquidity and move straight back down to the next liquidity pocket, really, which was down around the end of June, start of July. Um, we've come back up and tested the underside of that, to the pip, and obviously I expect now a deeper delve down into this. So I'll just stick the stochastic on and see. Let's get rid of one of these. So in terms of where we are on the hour time frame, as expected, we've obviously come up, tagged the key level. We're at a nice level in terms of the stochastic being overbought. First bar of red sitting in there in terms of some bearish nature. So shorter time frame, I'd like to see a pull down. There is an element of potentially moving up just a little bit higher just to confuse people trying to get back in. I think the shorter time frames, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, there's going to be a lot of retail traders kind of wanting the move up on the assumption that this is now going to the moon. So I think just a little bit of common sense still in this particular phase. I still feel that we sat in a larger term 3 to 4 move. Um, I've obviously been talking about in our channel this particular move from earlier on today. Um, Obviously, we've joked about some witchcraft. This is just kind of common sense, guys. There's a lot of easy levels to read, from this. Jumping out into the larger time frame, just go across to the 4 hour. Now, on the 4 hour, we've got a nice ascending channel sitting here, and therefore a little poke above and a drop down. It's not going to be too much of a shock, if we were to see this move. So I think 4 hours, pretty much the same. We kind of still bearish as a whole. I think we've got a nice little pullback. On the daily, again, pretty similar, really. We've had a nice couple of moves. Let me get rid of some of these. So we've had a nice couple of moves on the daily time frame. Let's get rid of this one. Come up to this. Let's get rid of this way. And on the daily time frame, I think we're again overbought as a whole. We've clearly had a nice impulsive move there, but lack of follow through. I suggested that we were going to get a wick fill, and if you zoom in into this wick, I believe it was something just underneath the 50% marker. If I was to obviously stick the retracement level on this, so if you imagine the price at the start of the candle and the price at the end of the candle, we were clearly getting at close of the candle a 61%, again almost to the pip. So I use the football analogy quite a lot, or soccer, if you will. The general idea is that it doesn't matter what goes on within that wick; it's the final score that actually counts. So for me, the idea of retracing back, all the way 60% of obviously that move doesn't give me a lot of confidence for bullish continuation. So whether we see a move down being a pullback and then obviously a move up again and go, or whether we now just get a very slow move on down. So that's really what I'm expecting on the daily. If I zoom back in and come back down to the 4 hour, I know I've covered this yesterday, but for you guys that didn't see yesterday's stream, again, this is just where I'm kind of trying to simplify some of the logic. So I'll take these out. And one of the areas that I've actually I'll show you just on the post. So one of the areas that I'm kind of keen on explaining, and again, just kind of simplifying the logic, is that the reality is we've obviously got, first of all, um, 6 months, 6 months, a year. So the fact that we've got, not even 3 months yet is uh, is again just confirmation for me that we're not quite finished. If you come into this, I'll zoom right in. this was obviously yesterday's post from the all-time high, first swing low, back up obviously, lower high, a lower low, again lower high from this one, a lower low again, and this has actually failed to make a new higher high. So I'm going to put a question mark around the lower high, just kind of simplifying the logic, guys. So obviously this was yesterday's post. Um, you can obviously zoom in and look at this yourself. There's a couple of key levels that I was interested in back in and around March the 26th, expecting this fall. Shallow and deep, obviously mentioned in this particular post, and this is currently where we sat. So I couldn't ask for a better outcome as a whole. We're currently doing exactly as I thought we're doing. We're underneath the schematic for Wyckoff in the distribution phase still. So again, overall sentiment still pretty bearish. Even after yesterday's move, nothing really exciting. It's kind of doing what we thought it'd be doing. So yeah, pretty much the same. Overall. What I'll do now is I'll jump into the advanced get structure and just show where we are currently on this particular move. So we're actually seeing on the get, and I don't personally agree with this. I don't think 5 is actually complete yet. There was many people calling 5 the spring. I just didn't feel it, and the fact that we come back down for this move, C and B, it just makes me feel that we're not quite done yet. So if we look at a larger scale schematic, we're going to get a very similar picture to what we had up and around the top, being obviously this level here. And the one thing that a lot of people missed out on the bigger schematic was the pullback, which was quite aggressive, giving us the UTAD. But if you look at from the 1 to 2, this is obviously comparable to this move here. So again, simple kind of logic, guys. We've got the 5 to 1, obviously here being the same as this one. We've obviously got another move across here, which I'm guessing if I stuck smaller time frames and put another schematic in this, we'll see a similar thing again. But for me, I kind of see the 2 level here as the same as this one here. So I would say this is a 2 rather than the C as a personal count and personal preference. So, that's where I think we are at the moment. I don't feel, very bullish as a whole. So that's what I'm thinking. We then have the smaller stuff. So this morning in our Discord channel, somebody mentioned this particular piece of software, the bookmark, sorry, in terms of an indicator. A lot of this information, guys, is actually already inbuilt into the price. I was calling this move up, obviously 39, to a wick. This is obviously only an hour time frame, but the general idea was we were expecting a wick fill, and the wick fill for me was simple composite man logic. We were looking at anybody shorting at 40k, 33 or 39.5k off obviously yesterday's move. Composite man coming in, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a dart up just a little bit above it to catch obviously many people out. But I think the closer we get to that 38.5, 39 level, the more people I think that would be bailing with obviously very small profits if they were shorting at 40. So yeah, I'm not a fan on this type of indicator. I think, like I said, a lot of this is already built in. It might be useful if you're trading scalping time frames, kind of 15 minutes or so, or anything less than that. But like I said, I think personally a lot of this is already built into that price. So I'll jump back now, obviously, to the other charts, and we go back to the trading view charts. Get rid of this one. So again, just to finish off this stream, I've recorded it again for YouTube should there be any real major issue. But as far as I'm concerned, we still bearish on the lower highs and lower lows until we're not. And therefore, yes, this is a nice move up. But if you combine the actual move and the overall volume sentiment, then I just don't get the feeling that we are overly bullish just yet. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything in there that's given me any clear indication that I'm ready to go long. Like I said, if you just zoom out, you can see that although it might seem very impulsive, we've actually done nothing. We haven't even come back to the previous high from the retest yet, being the underside of the distribution schematic. So yeah, I'm not trying to catch the bottom. I'm looking for confidence in my entry. I'm looking for a nice long trade, when we get there. But are we there yet? Definitely not. So yeah, I hope this helps, and obviously another stream coming up tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Cheers, guys.